So where is the money going when you pay a driver-related expense like a driver's license or, say, a vehicle registration fee? In your mind, that money is going to a road-related expense, but that's simply not the case. Some of it is going towards Jim's retirement, and some of it is going towards Susie's education. The EPA has brought out several items from the home that are contaminated. You can see this box of Legos, 47,290. That's about 5 times what is a safe level of mercury. What happens is a lot of people, when they spill the mercury, they'll try and vacuum it up. Not a good idea. If you look at the vacuum, 68,000, that's about 7 times what is considered a safe level of mercury. I spoke to a few neighbors who say had they not seen the police here this morning, they never would have known anything happened here last night. For some, that might seem like a lot of money, but keep in mind, we're not even halfway through winter yet, and when was the last time you remember seeing this much snow? It's likely that they're scared of getting in trouble, Lauren. That's what police say at this point. Today, we're more than 48 hours since the shootings occurred. It's a beautiful neighborhood, freshly cut grass, well-maintained homes. They even have a neighborhood crime watch sign. It's the last place you'd think a shooting would happen. I just want to orient you a little bit so that you can really get an understanding of what happened. There are 3 roads here that make a triangle. There's homes on the outsides of the triangle, but it is here in the middle of this triangle where at 3 o'clock on Tuesday, neighbors say they heard shots. That's where the shooting happened. This is what's left of Kay House's Buick Century. While she slowed down for a pothole on Aurelius Road, the pickup behind her did not.
I feel absolutely rotten. We need to do something about our roads, please. Too many potholes all over Lansing.
She had just spent nearly $1,000 fixing it up. Repairing this will cost more than it's worth, so it's totaled.
I realize we had a bad winter, but this could be fatal to somebody.
The size of some of these potholes is just incredible. I am standing about 200 feet north of where Kay House had her accident. This pothole, as you can see, goes the length of the road. It's so bad in some places, drivers must swerve across the yellow line into the other lane.
Over 15 years of underfunding of road infrastructure, no amount of people is enough to be able to keep up with that.
Friday morning, this man hit a pothole just south of Holt. It popped his tire.
And we at the township are very concerned because roads only disintegrate. They don't get better.
The roads in Delhi and other townships are taken care of by the county, which Friday had 39 people repairing the roads.
We have not been able to repair the roads to the point where we can prevent potholes. The way to prevent potholes is to increase road funding and rehabilitate and resurface these roads entirely.
House hopes somehow her car's damage will show people. Something needs to be done. And everyone I spoke with at the township level, city, county, even MDOT, they all say the road problems come from more than a decade of not enough road funding. They say if you want something to change, you have to tell your state representative or senator. The drill is intense and at times the video is shaky. Sunday night, officers responded to an all too familiar situation.
It was chilling to hear the words over our radio, a report of shots fired at the Lansing Mall.
1 mall, 2 shooters, and a half-dozen victims. Here you see Deputy Brian Thomas was among the first to enter the building. This is after hours and the mall is closed, but volunteers made the training realistic, and officers say the emotions were there. When officers arrive on the scene, their first item of business is to remove any threat. That way no one else gets hurt. Then they take care of the victims. Once that is done, the Special Response Unit checks the entire building. The officers say the experience gives them confidence. It showed them what they are capable of and how they can improve.
Mr. Command, we just made contact in the back hallway.
A mall is different than a school or church, and so police practice responding to each.
Repetition means a lot to our deputies, and the more training we get, the better prepared Eaton County will be.
If this actually happens someday in mid-Michigan, we can respond knowing that we can work as a team and effectively save as many lives as we can.
It's the last thing anyone wants, but the reality is a shooting can happen anywhere at any time, and Eaton County is doing its best to be prepared. In Eaton County, Brian Johnson, News 10. Caitlin Anderson is 5. She has cerebral palsy. When she was 2 months old, she went into cardiac arrest, causing brain damage. Her mom says doctors said she would spend the rest of her life in a vegetative state. Progress was slow until she discovered chickens.
I like everything about the chicken.
Caitlin loves chickens. You can really see it in her face. So much so that 7 days a week she walks 100 yards back behind this farmhouse just so that she can be with her chickens, something her mom says doctors said she would never be able to do. For Caitlin, chickens are therapy.
She realized it was fun to collect their eggs and feed them. She liked that responsibility of being around them.
But there's one big problem. The farmer who lives next door and owns the chickens is the neighbor of City Councilwoman Karen Davis. The farmer says the city has pretty much forced him out of town.
And since our farm is leaving, our urban farm protection is going with us. So she's going to have the therapy birds stay with her. Well, now it's the city not wanting birds at all.
He says the city is waging a war against chickens. Caitlin's mom has worked to move her daughter's therapy chickens to their property, but the city isn't showing any signs of support, so she took to the internet asking people for help. So far, more than 6,000 folks have signed her online petition, and one councilwoman in Perry doesn't see an issue with letting her keep the chickens.
Our ordinance is set up to where you can have bantam chickens, which are miniature chickens, and what she has is full-size chickens. So the issue really isn't necessarily the service animal, it's the size of the chicken.
The size of the chickens might stop one little girl from getting the therapy she needs, unless the council shows support for a disabled child. In Perry, Brian Johnson, News 10.